And welcome to this week's edition of the Pete Mezzetti Show. My guest tonight is Miner Vincent with Families Helping Families. Miner, welcome. How are you? Good to see you.
Peter, good to be back with you.
Always nice to have you back, my friend. So for my viewers and listeners that don't know, what exactly is Families Helping Families?
Families Helping Families is, we're in our 10th year. We're a 501c3 nonprofit in Clinton.
Yeah.
And we started out 10 years ago just doing fuel assistance. And now we've grown into, we have 5 community outreach programs.
Okay. And what are they?
We do the fuel assistance, energy assistance for people.
Okay.
We do, in conjunction with the Clinton Food Pantry, we have a fresh produce program.
Okay.
How that works is we are partnered with a wholesaler. So we are buying fruits and vegetables at probably a lot lower price than what you see at your local supermarket. So 2 or 3 times a month we get deliveries on a Wednesday, which is the day food is given out. So they're absolutely the freshest that you can buy. We also do another program in conjunction with the Clinton Food Pantry called Cans for Clinton. And what happens is various times during the year, there's shortages. Right. So what we do is we step in, the director of the food pantry, Linda Smith, will say, you know, we need this or we need this. A lot of times it's health and beauty aids, cleaning supplies. And so what we do is we'll try and find some bargains, and we fill in that way. Okay. We also do Clinton Kids Initiative, which is probably the program that's grown the fastest. And through that program, we work in conjunction with Social Services Coordinator Cheryl Church. Sure. And we do things like backpacks. Okay. We do back-to-school clothes. Okay. We do warm winter clothing. This summer we did our own summer meals program. We're going to talk about that. So we do things coordinated through her. Okay. We also have our Families to Families program, and that basically, if someone's going through a crisis, their car breaks down, they don't have enough money for insurance, they can't pay their rent 1 month, things like that. So we step in again, most of the time with Cheryl, and we're able to help those families out. So we have energy assistance, fresh produce, Clinton Kids Initiative, Cans for Clinton, Families to Families. So 5 programs, which keeps us running.
Exactly. And from what I understand, that we just came off of a food drive, and we also came off of an apple pie festival not long ago.
We did.
Let's talk about those.
We were, 2 weeks ago, we did our annual fall food drive, and thanks to the generosity of the people in Clinton, we collected the second most amount of pounds of food that we've done, and we've been doing our spring food drive for 7 years and our fall food drive for 5 years. So it was really gratifying to see, you know, how people chipped in and helped out. The other thing that we just finished is, if some of your listeners and viewers remember, I was here a couple of months ago, and we were trying to raise money for Dave McDonald.
That's right.
Who's a dispatcher from the Clinton Police Department, who is handicapped, and he's got a handicapped van that's 20 years old. Okay. And that van has been repaired beyond repair. Okay. So we threw out the challenge to the community that if they would raise $3,000 in 3 months, that we would match it. Well, we raised $3,000 in less than 1 month. In fact, we even raised more. So next week we will be presenting a check to Dave for $6,500, and through the generosity again, through all the people in town, they've collected more than what they needed for the van, so they'll be able to do some things like, you know, buy an extended warranty. Right. So that was, you know, very gratifying. And then last Saturday night we had our 10th annual Apple Pie Festival. Yes. And we had over 240 people at Town Hall. Wow. Yeah, so it was a good, excellent event. People brought food, people brought donations, and all the donations that we got will be put to use. We're going to buy warm winter clothing for kids. Make sure they have coats and sweaters and long sleeve shirts, all that. We did that last year for the first time with Cheryl Church, and we're going to do that again this year. So it was very good to see all the people that showed up and donated.
Now, what for everybody that doesn't know, as far as all the canned goods that you guys donate from either the food drives or at any of your events, where does the food go?
It all goes to the Clinton Food Pantry.
Okay.
So what happens is when we do an event, we collect all the cans, take it directly to the food pantry. Sometimes we help put it away, sometimes we don't. But I don't think people realize that probably right now is between 2,500 and 3,000 pounds of food are given away every week. So the food pantry operates on a strict budget, so they need to be supplemented. And unfortunately, there's gaps in the year. In the springtime, there are food drives, and Thanksgiving and Christmas, there are food drives.
Right.
But in the meantime, there are those gaps when there's no townwide food drives occur. So that's when we try and do ours early in the spring, as I know you're well aware of, and you're looking forward to, how can we put this? Another polar bear food drive, maybe?
Oh, no. Oh, no.
As you're aware of, those winds at Stop and Shop just chill you right to the bone.
Yeah.
So we do a spring one and we do a fall one to supplement what they need, and that's where our cans for Clinton kicks in, because like we'll go out and buy 300 or 400 cans of vegetables or fruits or things like that. So but what people might not realize is the increase in families using the food pantry has increased like 20% over the past 2 years.
Really?
So, you walk in on a Wednesday when the food comes back from the Connecticut Food Bank, and you see all this stuff come off the truck, but you don't realize that, all of a sudden, all that goes out that night. So the shelves don't stay full very long.
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
And from what I understand, just by doing some research for tonight's show, that the food pantry moved.
Food pantry did move. It's been at the First Church now for the past year.
Okay.
And one of the main reasons was that it used to be at the Holy Advent Church.
Right.
Problem was the stairs. So,
Yep.
So when we back a truck up to unload, you have to unload down the stairs.
Right.
And then on Wednesdays, when they would give out food, it has to come up the stairs. And then whatever's left over has to go back down the stairs. So stairs became a real issue.
Okay.
And so at the First Church, you can back the truck right up to the platform, put everything on hand carts, and wheel it right into the room, and you eliminate all that labor.
Really?
The whole operation is so labor intensive as it is, but just eliminating all the stairs made it a lot more easier.
Very cool.
And it works out.
How's that working out for you?
Exceptionally well. There's more parking. Like I said, it's easier to unload, so it's been good.
Now food pantry night is Wednesday, I believe.
Food pantry night is Wednesday. Yep.
And do they come and get the food, or is there a meal served? How does that?
There's both. There's a meal served at the Methodist Church on Commerce Street.
By the post office.
Right. Right on a diagonal across from the post office.
Sure.
So they can have a meal at the Methodist Church, and then they can go to the food pantry. Like I said, it's at First Church, big white church, directly across from Town Hall.
Right.
And then they can pick up their food.
Now, when someone goes in and picks up food, is there a quantity limit, or how's it work?
How's it work is obviously you walk in, and basically you're walking into a maze of tables.
Okay.
And each table is designated. One might be bread, one might be cans of fruit, one might be fresh vegetables.
Okay.
So each table has a certain designation, and then the amount that you get is determined by the number of people in your family.
Right.
So it'll tell you, they have a card, and it'll tell you, a family of 2, a family of 3, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And that's how much you're given. So you just make your way through the tables, and everything is all laid out right on the table.
Very neat.
Yeah, it's very well organized. Linda Smith's been doing it for, I want to say, 8 to 10 years.
Wow.
So she's got it down pat.
So
and
she knows what she's doing.
She knows very much what she's doing, and she's a big asset to us because how we do our fresh produce program is she'll get a list of specials every week from our wholesaler. So what she does is go down the list and see how the specials add up to what her needs might be.
Right.
And so then I will email her and say, okay, you can spend X number amount of dollars this week. So she'll match what she needs to the dollars, and it's delivered, and it works out very well. So we trust, her judgment implicitly,
right?
Because she knows how to stretch all those dollars, which we really appreciate. And making the judgment of what to buy is, we don't have that ability, so she has it.
She
does it very well.
Very nice. Now, from what I wanted, let's talk about this now because we have some time left in the segment. Let's talk about the community gardens and how they work in conjunction with the food pantry.
Community gardens have been a godsend.
Okay.
St. Mary's has a community garden.
Yes, they do.
And the Holy Advent Church has a community garden.
Okay.
So what happens is in the winter we have a meeting, and we plan what we're going to plant.
Okay.
There's certain things that St. Mary's plants and the Holy Advent doesn't, so that way there's not a lot of duplication.
Gotcha.
So what happens is there's a whole list of volunteers that, as you well know, your mother is a volunteer at St. Mary's.
She is.
So they have their own group of volunteers. Holy Advent has their group of volunteers, and it's a real community effort. So once everything starts rolling, they harvest every Wednesday.
Okay.
So that again, they harvest the produce, it's shipped to the food pantry, and again, it's the freshest thing because it's right off the vine. Okay. So what happens is during that time between the first harvest and the last harvest is that the food pantry is supplemented by those two gardens. So our fresh produce program basically provides fresh fruit. So it's like 4 different groups working hand in hand: the food pantry, the 2 gardens, and Families Helping Families. So the supplemental aspect of the 2 gardens has been phenomenal. I mean, you go there on a Wednesday and you see all the fresh produce, on the tables. It's just amazing that both gardens have flourished, and they do an excellent job. And it's not an easy job. It's a lot of work.
It's not.
Just keep the weeds down, making sure everything, they're planting the right things. Things have to be fertilized. Right. Unbelievable amount of work by the volunteers.
And Minor Vincent from Families Helping Families, would you mind sticking around for another segment?
I'd love to.
We'll be right back.
These are the dishes that Sandra gave to Goodwill, where Pete found the job that gave him a sense of purpose. This is the dress and the shirt that Madeline gave to Goodwill, where Graciela learned the English that changed her life. This is the dress, the dishes, and the shirt that David and Jackie found at Goodwill. Goodwill, what goes around comes around.
Every day, the people in our community rally in support of United Way as we strive together to make a big impact to change lives in Middlesex County. From our main streets to our institutions, from our neighborhoods to our town halls and our classrooms, we're working with our partners to create a stronger community. It's an inspiring effort, and we invite you to join us. Volunteer, donate, live united.
And welcome back to this week's edition of the Pete Mezzetti Show. Sitting here with Minor Vincent from Families Helping Families. Minor, welcome back.
Good to be back.
Nice to be back. It is good to be back. So we were talking about in the first segment all the events that you guys did in the past. Let's talk about some of the events that we have coming up. And I understand, just by doing some research, that there's a Coast Guard band concert in October that you guys are going to be.
Yep. Chamber of Commerce every year has the Coast Guard Academy Band Concert.
Yes.
And this year is going to be October 14th.
All right.
Which is a week from this Friday.
Yep.
and it's going to be in the new Morgan Auditorium,
Okay.
which, if people haven't seen it, it is spectacular.
All right.
So we're going to be there, and we're going to be asking people for monetary donations to help with our winter food clothing drive. So people can, the concert's free. All they have to do is send a letter with a self-addressed stamped envelope to the chamber, and the chamber will send them back tickets.
Very nice.
So we're hoping that, again, people will be generous, and we'll be able to provide plenty of coats and boots and warm winter clothing for Clinton kids this year.
So when they want to come, when you guys are at the Coast Guard concert, what will you be collecting? Is it going to be food? Is it going to be money?
We're just going to be collecting
Money.
cash donations.
Cash. Okay.
Somebody brings food, obviously we'll be happy to accept it.
Okay.
But we want to focus and make sure. Last year we spent over $2,500 on clothes, winter clothes for kids, and this year the need is even greater. So we want to make sure that we have enough to cover that.
Okay. And as far as, I know we talked about this before, but let's pick up on the subject of the Van for Dave.
The Van for Dave.
Things are going well. The money has been collected.
I'll give you just a little history. When somebody brought it to our attention, and they had started about probably more now, probably about 8 to 9 months ago.
All right.
And about 2 months ago, it kind of hit a lull. And somebody got a hold of us and said, look, you need to look into this. So we got a hold of the chief, and we sat down, we had a meeting with him and told him what we would like to do, which was, throw out the challenge to the community that if, like I said, if the community would raise $3,000 in 3 months, we would match it. So the community raised $3,000 in less than a month.
Wow.
So we matched that, plus we had an additional $500. So next week we're going to be presenting a check today for $6,500. It's going to be over, and what their goal was $30,000, and they raised a little bit more than that. So, and how it works is he has to raise the money for the van, and the state will then step in and they will equip it.
Okay.
The problem being is Dave is disabled and on disability, so he can't work a lot of hours to accumulate the funds to buy the van. Right. So, the community stepped in and stepped up, and the van is on order, and we're anxious to get it and get it equipped, and because the van that he's driving now is 20 years old, and it's just about on its last leg.
Oh boy. Now, once the van is on order and it's equipped and everything's a go, how long do you think till he gets it?
Probably about 6 to 8 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, it's pretty.
Because they have to put in a lift gate, they have to put in special levers, things like that. So we're hoping it's sooner because, bad weather, unfortunately, is not too far away.
Exactly. And one of the other things we should probably mention about we have a new police chief in the town of Clinton, and how supportive is he to you and your organization?
I tell people this story because to me it's unbelievable. His first day in town.
Yes.
We're having an event that night called Crazy for Cupcakes, and he brought his whole family. So that told me a lot about the character of the man and his commitment to the community. And like I said, when we did a fundraiser at Ace Hardware.
Yep.
And he was there at the food drive.
Yes.
He showed up.
Yes, he did.
Worked both doors. So, I think there's a lot to the man.
Right.
Outside of, what he was hired to do. He's really committed to the Clinton community.
Exactly.
So we're really excited to, work with him and partner with him.
And I was going to say, on a personal note on my end, I actually met with him not long ago, and actually had him on with me not long ago. And it was just, I felt very comfortable. It's like
he's lived.
It's like sitting here talking to you.
Well, you know what it's like? It's like he's lived in Clinton all his life.
Exactly.
Instead of just a few months.
Right. No, he's a very nice guy, and seems to care a lot about the community and a lot about the town.
Very definitely.
Definitely. So, it is now we're in the middle of the beginning to the middle of October. So from what I understand, once the weather gets a little bit cooler and once we switch seasons, we're going to talk about soup.
It's funny that you bring that up because one of the things on my to-do list is to get a hold of the chief.
Are you not? I was going to say, you're not ready to talk about soup?
We're ready to talk, but that's what I want to talk to the chief about, is having the police department enter a soup.
All right.
You know, we need to get them involved in that contest.
Exactly.
So the soup contest is fun. It's it's a part of Christmas in Clinton.
Okay.
And I know we'll talk about it another time, but just a brief. Basically, we have the restaurants in town and some individuals that will make 3 to 4 gallons of soup. People can come by. We take over the Body Karma Studio on Main Street.
Sure.
And people can come by. They buy a wristband for $5,
All right.
and they can taste all the soup, and then they are the people that judge the soup.
Wow.
And then there is a silver bowl on a nice hardwood cherry base that gets engraved, and for the last 2 years, Scottish Dave has won the contest.
He has.
So he will be back to defend his honor, so to speak.
Defend the championship.
this year.
All right.
But it's, you know, all the soup is great.
Okay.
So we're excited. We like that. You know, it's again, we try and have events that bring the community together.
Right.
Some of the comments I heard at Apple Pie that, you know, it's nice to be able to come out and see people that you maybe haven't seen for a while. You know, it's nice that there's not a charge. If you want to make a donation, you make a donation.
Right.
With the exception of the soup contest, we do charge $5, but you get to taste
You get to taste
8
the
to
soup.
10 different kinds of soups. So it's in line with what we're trying to do. And through all the events and everything that we do, all the money stays in Clinton. We virtually have no overhead. So
Okay.
the question that we get asked is, how is that possible?
All right. How's it possible?
Well, all the publicly raised money,
Okay.
100% of it goes right to our programs. Now, I do have people that will give me checks,
Okay.
and they say, you know, use it for whatever you know, if you have
Whatever you
expenses. Yeah. So, but any money that we raise from our events, any monies that we raise for our appeal letter, 100% of that goes back. And this year, we committed $42,000 to all our programs.
Really? Wow.
And if it's anything like it was last year, we ran about $5,000 over our previous commitment. So obviously, managing strict budgets is not necessarily in our DNA. You know, when there is a need, we react and we try and take care of that need. And if program budgets go over, then program budgets go over.
Right.
But our main concern is the people in Clinton.
Now, now you guys do a fuel assistance program as well.
We do a fuel assistance program.
Once the weather gets cooler.
And
how's that work?
That works through Cheryl Church.
Okay.
What we do is we go out in the market and we buy a bunch of oil.
Okay.
And Cheryl, people register for state fuel assistance.
Okay.
When that allotment is diminished, there is another emergency program. And then when that is used up, then we kick in, and Cheryl will just call our distributor
Okay.
and say, I need, you know, some fuel delivered, and they'll deliver it within 24 hours. And they already have the monies in hand,
Allocated
so
to-
there's no question about, you know, payment or anything like that. So it works very well. People need to understand the many aspects of Cheryl Church's job, because, you know, she is in the judgment business, and we don't want to be in the judgment business.
Now, is there, for the fuel assistance program, is there a cap or a cutoff of how many gallons of
We
fuel you can
generally people get 75 to 100 gallons.
Okay.
And we try and keep our allotments to one allotment a year. So that way, you know, if it's a really cold winter,
Right.
there's enough funds to go around and nobody's left out.
Now, let's talk a little bit more about upcoming events, not only through Christmas in Clinton, but maybe let's touch on next spring. as
Well,
far as what's going
We
on?
have the traditional week before, Sunday before Super Bowl,
Yep.
Clinton Lions Club always puts on a pancake breakfast for us at the
Yes.
town hall. And last year we had a revival. We revived Crazy for Cupcakes.
We
And
did. That's right. We
we
did,
did
revive
that in conjunction with the Shoreline Community Women.
All right.
And that's it's going to be April 22nd this year, which is a Saturday.
year?
Next
Next
year,
year.
yep, at the town hall.
Okay.
As I mentioned before, if we can recruit enough volunteers, such as yourself,
Oh no.
we'll maybe do a polar bear spring/winter food drive. We might need an infusion from Dunkin' Donuts for some
Exactly. Well,
many cups of hot coffee.
Oh, many. Oh, definitely many cups of hot coffee.
And then we have a couple of ideas that we're tossing around, but it's a very small group.
Right.
There's only 8 of us,
Okay.
and we are in the process of forming a Friends of Families Helping Families. So if people are interested, they can get a hold of us through our Facebook,
Yeah.
or they can call me.
Yeah.
I can give you my number. It's 860-669-5592,
Okay.
or send us a note at P.O. Box 166 in Clinton. So what we hope to find is about a small group, 20 to 30 people.
All right.
And what we'll do is rotate them through different events, so that somebody that says, okay, I'll help. There's no fear that they're going to have to do every single event.
Right.
So people will do food drives, some will do the apple pie,
Some will do cupcakes.
some will do cupcakes.
You mean there's going to be some other poor soul besides you and I that are going to be standing out there begging people for
Well,
forgiveness?
those are the people that have to have warm winter coats.
Okay, that's why we're going to the warm.
But that way, everybody in the group will get a chance to do one event, and so they'll become familiar with it.
Exactly.
It's like one Saturday when we had our apple pie. We had probably 4 new people that had never helped before.
Very
And
nice.
hopefully they'll be back for another event.
Very nice, very nice. Well, we don't have that much time left, so before we say goodnight, I actually personally want to thank you for everything you do to the community. Like, you and I talk all the time, and people don't understand how much work and how much gratitude that you and your community give to the local area.
Well, Peter, it's like I tell everybody. I said, if it wasn't for the generosity of the people and the business owners in town,
Okay.
there wouldn't be any Families Helping Families, because without the funds, we wouldn't be able to do half of what we do. So we are, very grateful for everybody's generosity. I can't tell you the number. In fact, I went to the post office today, and there was a check from somebody,
Wow.
unsolicited.
Very nice.
So-
Myra Vincent from Families Helping Families, I want to thank you for coming
Peter,
down.
thank you so much.
We'll see you soon.
Great.
Have a good night.